So that was like 3 weeks.
I don't even think it lasted 3 weeks. I think about
I think so.
10 days. And that was it.
Well, you're quite polite.
Well, yeah.
What happened?
Well, obviously I'm not a teacher. I ended up finishing the paintings for them because I couldn't handle watching them.
Well, Father would dither about, and he's, be slow and trying to make something right. And Paul, he couldn't help himself. He'd just grab the pencil or the brush and say, like this. And then it's done, right? You're not learning much. But anyways, in the end, my father said, look, I think Paul's more valuable painting. He's not a teacher. He doesn't want to be one.
Yeah.
And I said,
exactly.
That's right. He's not interested, so let's forget that.
Good. Okay. And a lot of your paintings that you were doing at the time were, I don't know what you'd call them, whether you'd call them, they weren't pastiche, were they? What was the idea behind? Well, what was the idea behind doing paintings either in the style of Dali and Picasso, etc.?
Oh, that was basically just to practice using different styles, copying different artists. And actually it's good for it. In fact, if you go to art school, they can get you copying all kinds of paintings to begin with, even some of Leonardo da Vinci's, and Dali is the hardest to copy. Some of Picasso's. I did Van Gogh, a lot of Van Gogh style, because I loved the texture, heavy texture.
But then you came up with the idea, the pen inks, because there's actually a few people that work well in pen and inks. And because there's so much detail, people are always amazed. Paul still could even do pen and inks very quickly. So we would have a good price, and, they were very popular. But the subject matter like Dali, Einstein, Picasso, he would do the portrait in pen and ink. And
with their style all around them.
Yeah, the backdrop would be
images of their particular figures of their paintings.
Yeah.
Like an
Even
homage
Einstein.
to those
exactly.
artists.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was selling well.
It wasn't really. I usually did them for myself. They did end up selling them, but that wasn't what I was maybe doing mostly. Mostly I was doing landscapes because that's what was selling, in Vancouver at that time. I mean, Vancouver is not. It wasn't exact. We used to call it the cultural desert because for artists it was a bit difficult,
Yeah, a long time back. It's
people were mostly traditional in their taste.
Yeah.
I mean, in those days, you wouldn't be able to see an abstract in a gallery if your life depended on it.
Yeah, that's a long time back. Yeah.
A long time ago.
Right. So a lot of landscapes, and given that Canada is a very landscape,
absolutely
based
beautiful
country.
BC.
Exactly. It's a great subject matter. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what people wanted. They wanted to be able to see the beautiful scenery in their apartment. I mean, they still do. Even today, I could sell as much as I painted if I went back to doing landscapes all the time.
Yeah, they love it, and the trees. I always
tree
remember
scenes. Oh my God, yeah.
Several years back, these people are living in sort of a forest, but they still want even more trees inside, like the paintings.
Obviously, by this time, it sounds like the travelling bug, or your sort of yearly routine of travelling was starting to take shape, and the first plans for the next voyage took shape. So why did that happen, and why did you choose where you were going to go?
Well, you get itchy feet, this idea of people don't understand. It actually does. Your feet do itch.
Wow.
It's the truth. It's the truth. You get irritable, and you feel like you've got to be on the move again. And so we planned to go. Joanne, what did we say?
I was surprised. I think I mentioned several times that our parents, they never said anything. Like even Father. I'm working for Naomi and the gallery, and then I say, I think, and this was just 10 months after we'd arrived back from Europe, and I said, I think we're going to go to Mexico next, and Well, Father just figures it out. I don't know. He gets temporary workers or whatever. And he was always encouraging, saying, "Oh, great. That sounds like a great adventure." And
I could send paintings back.
Yeah.
I was still dealing with all these guys, so I was painting all the time down there as well.
The whole idea is it's a new experience, and Paul will paint down there. And,
So we had this old Zephyr. And the first garage I went to said, "It's never going to get you to Seattle." And then a friend of Joanne's father's, who was a mechanic, said, no, it's a Zephyr. They go forever. It'll get you to Acapulco. So, okie dokie, I figured that's the best one to take his advice.
Yeah, we took his advice and off we went.
So off we went.
In October. So
yeah. In October 70, 1970.
1970, and we came back April 71.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Ygartua Art Chronicles podcast. It was great to hear how the Apollo Gallery started to take shape in Vancouver and all about 1960s Hawaii. On the next episode, we'll be driving way south down to Mexico to find out what Paul and Joanne got up to there. Please visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Ygartua Art Chronicles, and share this with your friends and family. This podcast is recorded and edited by me, Ed Hoskin, and produced by Tala Ygartua and myself. Music is by Hoskin and Clark. Adios!